Are you ready to go on vacation, but you only have 2 hours? Check out our board game, Destination Archipelago, the game where players compete to have the best vacation. Destination Archipelago is for 2 to 4 players aged 12 and up. Gameplay takes an hour and a half to 2 hours and takes place over 2 phases. The first phase is the research phase. Players gather information about the islands they'll be visiting by building out the map and gaining resources for the second phase. These resources come in the form of money, possible itineraries, and game-altering cards. In the second phase, players work to gain as many vacation points as they can. Vacation points can be earned by visiting must-see locations on the islands before any other player, collecting vacation point cards after completing activities, completing suggested itineraries, and ranking highly on the activity mat. So, why might you want to play Destination Archipelago? It has high replayability. Thanks to the first phase, players can use a new map setup each time they play. For example, you could end up with a Pangea or a ton of tiny islands. Even on maps with the same number of islands, you'll have activities, hotels, seaports, and airports, all in different locations. Additionally, players can draw from card decks throughout both phases of the game. There's a substantial variety within these cards, and they really alter gameplay. You'll have very different hands each time you play. On the first few playthroughs, you can enjoy the first phase while going light on strategy, but experienced players of the game can find rich strategic possibilities in the first phase as they get to know the game better. Just as there are many different ways to have a great vacation, sticking to one place the whole time versus island hopping each day, there are many paths to winning Destination Archipelago, and players can try out different tactics with each new gameplay. Our game is focused on lighthearted gameplay. Keeping with the positive experience one hopes for from a vacation, gameplay is largely relaxed. While players compete against each other, game mechanics don't involve aggressive or attacking behaviors. Additionally, to remove some of the stress of learning a new game, cheat sheets and an instructive player mat give players some easy tools for diving in. Finally, this is a deeply thematic game. The vacation theme is not only seen in the game art and flavor text, but it also informs the mechanics of the game. For example, while you can write a blog entry for money, the action will also lose you positioning on the activity mat, a penalty for working on your vacation. And if you don't end a day with your meeple on a tile with a hotel, you'll gain exhaustion and will lose one of your action cubes for the next day of play. At the start of the research phase, each player gets $15 and randomly drawn tiles. 4 Talk to a Local cards are placed face up, along with 1 card from each of the activity decks. The starter tile, this is the one with a compass rose on it and the back is red with an S on it, should be placed in the center. On your turn, you'll place a tile. It must share at least 1 full edge with an already placed tile, and it'll need to line up geographically with any neighboring tiles. So, green must touch only green, and blue may only touch blue. After placing, you'll gain 1 of the following for your placement. You'll have to choose if you have multiple options. If your tile has water on it, you may wash out all of the face-up cards and replace them with new ones from the decks. If your tile has an ATM icon, you can gain $1 from the bank. If your tile has an activity icon on it, you may either gain the face-up activity card matching that activity type, or gain a face-up Talk to a Local card if that activity icon is one of the activities in the itinerary for the card. When a new island is started, you should place a ferry on that island. When an island is made up of at least 5 tiles, you'll place an airport on the tile that caused the island to hit this milestone. All players then get $1 from the bank. When an island is completed, the player finishing the island may choose a flag to place on the island. These flags will give a specific bonus to that island during Phase 2 of gameplay. If at any point a player cannot place a tile, they are skipped. When no more tiles can be placed, any remaining tiles should be flipped over and placed face down to fill any gaps. Players do not gain anything from placing these face down tiles. Now the vacation phase begins. For setup, you'll place the randomized market tokens and have all players discard down to 10 cards. Players will then choose an airport for their meeple to start at. The goal of the vacation phase is to gain as many vacation points as possible. You can do so by collecting activity cards. After doing an activity, players draw an activity card. Half of the cards in these decks award the player 1 vacation point. You can also complete itineraries. Each Talk to a Local card has a possible itinerary. If a player completes all of the activities required by an itinerary over the course of a day, that player earns the vacation points associated with the card. Your position on the activity tracker also earns vacation points. Players move up this board after doing an activity. You can also collect must-see tokens by being the first player to stop on a tile with one of these tokens. The vacation phase is comprised of 5 days. Over the course of a day, players can deploy 5 action cubes. Players take turns using their action cubes one at a time. You can use action cubes for many types of gameplay. If you're on a tile with an activity square, you can do an activity. You'll need to pay the current market price for the activity, place an action cube on the activity square, move your token one spot up the activity tracker, then finally draw an activity card. You can also use your action cube to move around the board by flying, ferrying, or driving. If you're on a tile with an airport, you can fly from one airport to another for $2. If you're on a tile with a seaport, you can start a ferry journey for $1. With 1 action cube, you may travel up to 3 tiles using a continuous path in the water. Ferry movement can be up, down, right, left, or diagonal. To end a ferry journey, you must re-enter the land through another seaport. If you're on a tile with land, you can move up to 3 tiles using a continuous path on land. No diagonal movement is allowed. It must be up, down, right, or left. As you move about the islands, you may collect must-see tokens by stopping your movement on a tile with one of these tokens. Only one player may gain the must-see token for a given tile. Action cubes can also be used to draw a Talk to a Local card. Finally, you can gain money with your action cubes by blogging or visiting an ATM. At the end of each day, players claim any itineraries that they completed. When doing so, they should retrieve their action cubes from the activities that were completed for that card. Cubes cannot be used for multiple itineraries. Next, move the day tracker forward a day and reset the market. The future market will become the current market, and randomized tiles are drawn for the new future market. When 5 days have passed, the vacation is over. Players will add up the vacation points they earned from the activity cards drawn throughout their vacation, add up the vacation points they earned from their must-see tokens, and add up the vacation points they earned from the completed itineraries and R&R cards. Players should also complete the activity tracker scoring. The player in the highest spot on an activity track earns 7 vacation points, the player in second gets 3 vacation points, and the player in third gets 1 vacation point. And that's Destination Archipelago. We've done playtesting through Protospiel, NunPub, and Break My Game. Feedback from those groups led to substantial revisions. Additionally, we created custom code in Python to run simulations of the first phase of the game and formulated a linear program to ensure optimal distributions of activities, hotels, and ATMs on the tiles. We've also created a genetic algorithm to lay out the punch-out sheets to minimize printing costs. Thanks so much for watching. Check out our Instagram for updates about the game.